Hey ho there, Shug here, and I'm walking on the Brule Lake Trail up near Brule Lake, Minnesota. It's a Boundary Waters trail. I had to get a permit and stop and get that today. Seen this trail on the map many a time. I think it's only 10 or 11 miles, but it goes to Eagle Mountain, which is the highest point in Minnesota. I'm about 3 miles in now. A pleasant walk. And just moseying along. And right now the plan is to do this trail and go out and then head down to the Superior Hiking Trail somewhere out of Grand Marais. Packed my catalyst for this trip. And the woods are looking this way. It's kind of that, I picked this place to stop and take a break because the sun was shining here. And pretty earthy. I was going to say earthy because I haven't seen, like I say, I haven't seen a lady slipper, a couple little greens popping up, but we're a little bit, you know, a little bit before the big bloom, but I'll catch that soon enough. Oh, I'm liking this site. Real pretty little fire pit up in the shade. Kind of on a little point, got the lake on both sides. So this is the sort of the sunny side. And cut right across here. This is the shady side. Yes, I'm liking this site. This is where I'm gonna stay. I got a breeze blowing through and I feel like a fool for only walking 4 miles today. But I'll get on down that trail tomorrow. There'll be happiness, there will not be sorrow. Climb Eagle Mountain. Maybe there's a fountain of youth because I'm turning 63. My, me. And there's Frankenquilt, and I've got my Warbonnet Diamondback top quilt. Both of these are about 20 degrees. It's supposed to get down in the low 40s, but you know, they don't make me too hot, and I rather had them out, brought those. So in the morning I'll be peeping right down to this side of Fishhook Lake, and that'll do just fine. Got my DIY Black Crow tarp, 11-foot ridge line, about 7 feet across, roughly. Black Bishop bag, and I have my Warbonnet Eldorado hammock, which is basically like the XLC without the shelf. I could remove that bug net if I wanted, but I like to bring it because it gives me back support when I want to just sit and stare. It's quiet up here. No cars. I don't hear any canoers. I hear no man-made sounds whatsoever. I hear no industry. I hear no cutting, drilling, driving. Just the wind, Brian. I like the wind. I like it a lot. And as I was walking in, when I took this little trail and it off of the Brule Lake Trail, there's not really a cairn or anything marking this little trail down here. You just have to keep an eye out for it. It's kind of a little meander in, and then I came to the Donaker, the Pooper, the latrine, which is actually quite a ways back up the trail, and did my little CSI, looked in it, see any poop, no toilet paper, nothing. So I'm thinking I might be the first person here this season, and I live for moments like that. I live for them. To be honest, I'm getting hungry. I haven't eaten much today. Had that Stinger bar. Let's see, what else did I eat? Had a little breakfast burrito that Meg made me last night. It's kind of a breakfast fajita, and I ate that on the drive up. But I'm feeling a little bit peckish out here now. That right there, usually enough to get me a right good sack of water. One of my other disciplines is I've got my mesh pouch right here that goes, you know, inside my backpack, and that has my car keys in it, has my permit, it has my money, has some extra batteries, it has some water purification tablets, just little items, but mainly because it's got my money and my key. Anytime I open that thing up, I never leave it open after I get something. I always close it because it would be a drag to lose your money or your keys. I love the little rituals that we all come up with backpacking. Everybody has their own little thing they do and how they do it. And it just saves trouble to, you know, you learn going, just zip it up every time. Don't leave it unzipped because you'll flip it over, your key could flip out, and man, that would be the worst, to get back to your automobile, my Jeep, and not have your key. Oh, I think we got a pretty boil. Oh yeah. That is what I am talking about. You want to get all those bits. One thing I do, because this little mug has some crevices at the bottom, I turn my spoon around and make sure to stir down in there to get every little bit of that cocoa mixed in there. I want it all. Wow, I like this view. And I like knowing there's water behind me. And of course, the fine art of spoon licking. Sometimes I've done the tongue depressor. Lick your spoon. There's no better way to get the stuff off of it than the good old lick. You know, it's funny, the ranger was going, I had to go in and watch a little video and pick up my permit, and then they ask you questions, because so many people came up here last summer and sort of abused the place. People cut down trees because it was in their way. Like a beautiful jack pine fell it right into the water, man. So they've gotten a little bit more stringent on quizzing you. You have a little test after you watch the videos. And, you know, one thing she asked me was about, so if you're going to bathe, do you bathe in the lake? No, ma'am, you would take your water back 200 feet and bathe back there. And you don't even want to bathe in the lake with biodegradable soap. But I told her, I said, bathing? Man, I come out here not to bathe. I mean, I brush my teeth and stuff, and when I do my morning constitutional, you know, I take a wet wipe and clean my nether regions. That's about as clean as I get. The rest of them, I want the funk. Having this fire warm me up. Man, this is good. Chunked a bunch of butter in those potatoes. Mmm. Going for a little partial tarp pitch tonight. Just because right now I'm here. I don't really want to block myself out. Get this end down. That end pulled back because I got this tree really close. Now, were it to rain, I could get up. I'd take this far corner down, which is just pretty much tied to that little tree right there. Stake that down, and then that'll get my tarp down around this tight tree here. And take this corner that I put over the top and bring it down. But this way, this is what I call one of my partial see the sky tarp pitches, yet I'm still covered. Weather's supposed to be cool tonight, but they're not calling for any rain or anything, so it's clear as a bell up there. But if I do hear sprinkles, I'm halfway done. When I lay in here, I can kind of get a little peek out right there, but the edge of my hammock is sort of right here, so I'm pretty much covered. That'll be nice. I'll still look down at that lovely water. Got my coffee ready to go right here. It smells good. Some peaches and cream oatmeal. And a pap tart. I think it's a pretzel. I'm hoping it's a chocolate peanut butter. It was in my kit already. Remains to be seen. Yes, sir. Got myself a pretty boil. That Miss Wheatley would be proud. Boiled and purty. I always thought so. Very carefully. I'm not going to get all fancy with it this morning. Man, that smells good. I'll tell you what. I already told you, so I don't need to tell you that I told you what. Woke up about 43 degrees. A little chill, but there's no wind. Overcast. Looking forward to today. Head on down to Eagle Mountain. No, they're the pretzel Pop-Tarts. You know, I hold out hope that peanut butter Pop-Tarts will appear in my kit sometime, but I like these pretzel ones. Man, I only got about 9 hours of sleep. Not my usual 10. That's the way that goes. Maybe I'll make it up tonight. A quiet night. It was so quiet I could hear all the bird action that was happening at night. There was a lot of flapping going on. Flapping and landing in the water and slapping around and buzzing through. And I had one of those moments where I thought something went up under my hammock and touched me. It might have. Because I'm hanging kind of low. And let's see, what did I do for this trip? Well, I got brand new whoopee slings from a hammock. I've been using the other ones for several years, and I was inspecting them, and I went, you know, I've never used a whoopee sling until the moment that it has broken, and I've not heard a lot of reports of them breaking, but I use my hammock a lot, so I changed them out. Thought it was good. Because, you know, I did have a strap break last year, one of my tree straps. It was a trip I did with Jonah. I think that was angleworm. So, you know, you need to, it is your suspension. It's like changing your tires or getting a haircut. Every once in a while you got to do that. There's a nice brew right here. I like this Honduras honey better as an espresso rather than a pour over. But it's a nice dark, good cup. Like you can see that. You take my word for it. Well, I was talking to you there and my battery died. Nope, not died. What happens is it comes up on the screen, it says, battery exhausted. I'm too tired to go on. I'm a battery. You asked so much of me. I'm exhausted. I'm going to stop now. I guess I don't like to use the word. Your battery died. But it can be recharged. So maybe exhausted is the proper term. Oh, pretzel. Pop-Tart is not bad. Looking forward to a little ramble and mosey along. I don't think I have to rush today at all, which is really nice. I do have to rush getting out of here tomorrow, though. Get back out, get in the car, drive somewhere down the Superior Hiking Trail, and go from there. But this was a really good spot. Really good. Small, though. I think where I'm hanging right now would be about the only place I can see to put a tent. You ain't gonna come down here with a lot of people. No, you're not. Yeah. So you know, when you're a YouTube celebrity like me, Shug Up the Third Person, you're often asked to do a lot of different things. Your time is requested. Well, a couple of things. I was just gonna. Last night I started reading. It's a portion of a book that a guy named Eric Foster Whidden, who has written a book, and he reached out about a year ago, maybe even longer, in the midst of writing it, and asked if I would write a little comment or blurb or whatever you call it when you pick up a book, and certain people have said something about the book, and you know, it's always a tough one when you're going, well, I haven't read it. What if I read it and I don't like it? But I said yes, because I say yes to most requests like that. What have I got to lose? And seemed like a dink if I don't, but I did say something like, well, you know, yeah, I will read it and we'll go from there. So his editor just last week sent me a little, it's like 95 pages of it, and asked if I would read it. It's a book called Misplaced, and it is a backpacking trip. And his character is misplaced, and then there's other guys in it: faith, loyalty, resolve, strength, wisdom. He's a religious, an ex-pastor or still a pastor. You know, it has a religious bent to it, but like any good story or even like watching a documentary, it's not, you know, it's not like written so far. I laid up and read 35 pages of it last night, and I like it. Number one, it's a backpacking story. There were some traits in the character Misplaced that I have to say, I have those traits, which you have to decide if they're good or not. One is, I don't ask for help enough. I'm kind of self-reliant, and if I don't think I'm good at something, I don't want people to see it. But so it's why I go backpacking, is because this is probably the most spiritual I feel and the most connected. So, not to get too far into that, reading that last night was really cool because it's a backpacking story. And, they all have trials and tribulations and different things on the trail. So far, really enjoying it. And I think the way the world is now, and I guess the world's always been like this, but it's just in our face really more now, is reading something uplifting and good that causes you to take a little look at yourself and hopefully adjust a few things for the better. Never a bad thing. So enjoying it, Eric Foster Whidden. Enjoying it. The other little report is, about 3 weeks ago, me and a guy named Joe Fredericks, and he's from a radio station up here close to here in Grand Marais, called WTIP. And him and his buddy, they're canoers and everything, and Joe's the news director, and their station does a podcast, so we did one. I don't think it's going to come out till June or July. And it was one of those really interesting talks about diversity in the woods. What sort of privilege is it to be able to go to the woods? I just, in a nutshell, will say my parents, Boy Scouts, always went to the woods, always played in the woods. So it just became part of my thing. And it was just sort of funny. I think what I'm trying to say is, sometimes you say your opinions and your thoughts on things, spitballing, and afterwards you have a little time to think about it, and you go, I hope I didn't sound selfish on that, but my thought is, the Boundary Waters is here now. If you want to see it, come see it, and there's a million places in the earth like that. And we need the people that will come up here once and then spend the rest of their life, standing up for it. Maybe they never come up again. I'm a guy that comes up again over and over. So it's just one of those philosophical things that get you thinking. No right or no wrong answer. Just speaking for myself, but I will fund it with my money, and I will fund it with my time up here walking it and respecting it. So that podcast, when it comes out, I'll put a link. But it's just sort of funny to talk about, your time in the woods and all these little subjects where you think something as simple as backpacking. You load your pack and go. It's like taking kids out. Even as scouts, sometimes you go camping and come home going, man, kind of hated that. But somewhere along the line, you learn to love it when you can go on your own. You've learned all the skills your scoutmasters have taught you. Now you don't have to go with all those men, and you can go on your own, and the whole game changes. Man, I'm sorry to get deep on you there. I was just trying to inform you of some upcomings and things I get wrapped up into and have to talk about, and I go, man, what am I talking about? What are my thoughts? Man, that was the longest walk to a backwoods Donaker pooper latrine that I've ever done. But a beautiful view as you sit. And this is one thing I love about the Boundary Waters. Even back here in remote places, there's a fiberglass Donaker. But you're kind of looking down to the water. Okay, I counted on my OCD there a little bit, and I counted 387 steps from Fire Pit to the Donaker. Beautiful little walk, though. Beautiful, just beautiful. And I felt so good walking back. The morning constitutional. I'm not an animal. I am a man. Shug, I think you have a twisted intestine. This is a mighty fine morning walk. It's just been sort of down between all these ridges. Kind of low, a little wet, but not as rocky as yesterday so far. Pretty flat. Didn't have to exert myself too much, and I kind of like a morning walk when I can just kind of ease into it. And I tell you young folks out there, thing about getting older, you still got the will, still got the desire to get out on the trail. You just have to ease into it a little bit more. You feel it more for sure. And the hardest thing that I find, you know, even leaning down to tie your boots and put your boots on and everything, is flexibility. You just kind of lose this suppleness you have while you're young. Even though I do stretch a lot, I've always been a bit of tight ass, according to my mother. So what I'm trying to say is, enjoy that youth, enjoy that flexibility. Me, I am the Tin Man. Well, Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man that he didn't already have. And the Tropics of Sir Galahad. I am walking the trail with a moose. I prefer that to a goose. Well, this is cool. We're way upstream here. This is the Cascade River. River I've camped on many times, down closer to, closer to Lake Superior, and it's a big rushing river there. And the trail heads on into the mystic landscape. Well, I've been walking a couple hours now, and just came to this beautiful little mossy, it's like Mordor, little spot in the forest. Perfect rock to lean my pack against. It's pretty cool out today, comfortably cool. What am I looking at here though? About 63 degrees, a little bit overcast, 4% chance of rain. Possibly 50% chance of spam. Here in my little lunch pack, kind of traveling light. I got a spam pack. I got a couple of more stingers. I got a what I call the Greek birdseed candy, but that's the sesame snaps, and the emergency candy snack. I got the penguin bar. And that's to get me through today, and then tomorrow the whole hike back to the car. So I gotta be a little choosy, but I'm kind of excited about getting up on Eagle Mountain. You know, it's one of those things that, you know, you get, like even with this trail, I had an image of it in my mind, and the image I had in my mind is nothing like what the trail really is. It goes through a lot of areas like this. It goes through a lot of just kind of dead leaves on the ground, flat, gray, watered out, melted areas. You know, the snow is only melted up here. There was still snow on this trail. The last trip I took was maybe 2.5 weeks ago, so there was still snow out here. So you get a lot of diverse looks, and then a lot of little low wet areas, but a lot of them are dry because it has been dry up here lately. That's some ranger talk right there. Forest ranger. I changed my mind. I'm going to eat half my Spam and save the other half for tomorrow, because how could Spam possibly go bad? Yes, sir. It's always good to lick your Spam. Now, last trip I was on, I cooked some Spam, and it's fantastic, but I do not mind it this way, because you're, even like, you know, I've been in the woods probably less than 24 hours, because I think I got on the trail like at 2 o'clock yesterday. And, you know, your palate's just not as discerning out here. All right, I've eaten half the Spam, and I'll tell you the truth, this is the first time I've ever had to cut myself off. Half Spam. Man, it's tough. Man, this is taking a lot of discipline on my part to put this Spam away. I'm just going to have to stuff it in my little stuff sack and forget about it. Forget about it. And actually, I think I'm going to eat half of my sesame snaps, as long as I'm putting myself on this, you know, this discipline here of eating half of something. I love these things. Looks. Well, I'm on the road to Eagle Mountain. I think it's a day hike place. And I certainly got here early. Earlier than I thought I would get here. And there's one big beautiful campsite down there I looked at. I'll kill some time, I'll go check the other one. I could just walk back and camp to where I camped last night and be out real quick tomorrow. That's what I'm gonna mull. Up on Eagle Mountain, where Suge will mull what he's gonna do. I'll reach down and loosen up my hiking boots that some call a shoe. So here I come up Eagle Mountain, and I think I'm going to be up here alone. And who's up here but Brian Jacobson? Right there. And he's hiking up, and he's staying somewhere up here on the North Shore. He's, what are you, a business manager for the schools?
Yeah, for Wadena Public Schools.
Wadena! Yeah. Wadena!
Pitcher for the Dent Wildcats, and I go by Smoke.
Smoke, baby. I felt some smoke up here on the mountain. Have you been having a good time, Brian Jacobson?
I've been having a great time.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get up here for a long time, and I was just thinking 3.7 miles each way, 400 feet up. I don't know if I can do it.
But you did it, didn't you?
Well, I made it up. I'm not down yet.
You know, he's gone from here to there. He's used some resolve. There it is right behind me there, the official marker. Bigger than I thought it'd be. Pretty cool. Been meaning to come here for 20 years. Never too late. There's always new adventures. I'm proof of that right now. One of the very few markers on this trail. There's one more over here that points you to the Brule Lake Trail. Other than that, no markings, but there really isn't any portages across the Brule Lake Trail. Well, it was awfully fun being up on top of Eagle Mountain. I spent maybe hour 45 up there just sitting, staring. I got in a couple of conversations. I didn't know I wanted to talk so much, but you know, the world is coming out here in Minnesota. And I got down to this site and it was super windy. Of course, now the wind has died, but I MacGyvered myself a little tarp rig here. You know, since it is supposed to be cool tonight, you know, like last night, down in the low 40s. And yeah, it's always cooler than you think, particularly when there's a breeze blowing. And part of my fun is I like messing with tarps. So the wind is coming straight in this way. And with my pitch, that is about as low as I can get that tarp and still have a little room to be comfortable under there. So I took my rain jacket. And when I made this tarp, I put myself a couple little tabs right into the hem right there. For situations like this where I got to just kind of secure the tarp from blowing in on me. It works real good. I prefer it on this tarp rather than putting them here. They've worked really well down there. So I just got my rain jacket kind of MacGyvered on. And then took my hood and I took a long line because I got a project to replace my tarp lines too, and I don't know if I'll do it at home. I thought I'll do it in the woods someday. So I've had this little hank of Dyneema lime with me. I just ran that right over here. The little lash and stuff on the tree, and that is kind of holding it up. But the genius part, at least I think as genius as I get, is how do I get this to keep from blowing in? Well, I take my daytime water bottle and a rock, and I got it in that pocket, and I got 2 rocks in this pocket, and right now that's enough to keep it from blowing up on me real hard. And you know, if the wind dies, I might take it down. I was thinking if it got real bad, I could go get a rock by the fire pit and just kind of set it just like that. You know, and that's just enough to keep that wind that's right where my butt is hanging down, and just to keep that wind from robbing that heat from my underquilt. That was a fun project. That's really my favorite thing to do. Mess with tarps, just see if you can come up with something with what you have. And I have plenty, but I've had to do some rigs like that before in interesting ways. And you know, it was looking like it was going to rain, but now it's not. When I was up on Eagle Mountain, sitting there in that wind so long that I actually started to get kind of cool, put on my wind shirt, and then hiked on down, then it was warm again. But this camp right here is the North Whale Lake Camp, and it's pretty close to where you take the trail up to Eagle Mountain. Goes on back that way. It's a little rough, but you come out at another little part of the lake. But I'm going to get my pack. I'm going to make a little sitting spot down here and just enjoy it because I got here a little early. Early! That ain't a bad flow. I'll take that. I'll just sit here and enjoy the sound of water running into an old bottle that I've been carrying for 4 years. You know, but there's just something to be said for sitting down, watching your water bottles fill, feeling the wind blow across your body. Think about today. Today's been fun, been a good day. I won't say fun, but just a good day. It was a good walk. Enjoyed the walk. Enjoyed what I was seeing. I enjoyed stopping to have a half a Spam lunch. I enjoyed being on top of Eagle Mountain for an hour and a half or so. Maybe an hour 45, a couple conversations. Which I didn't think I'd enjoy, but I did. And just being in the woods. And, you know, seeing part of my own state that I haven't seen before. Oh, hello, mosquitoes. You know, I had to zip up my bug net last night. There was, I don't know, 6 or 7 mosquitoes, and they were just wanting to, like, you know, make a home right in my ear. Let them bite me. I thought I could get by without zipping the bug net, but no, I zipped it up. Really enjoy just laying on the ground right now. So it's fun to walk along and just think about, I didn't really think about life back there. I was thinking about life out here. Just trail walking, you know, through hiking the Superior Hiking Trail. Do I still want to do it? Would I do it? If I did it, I think I'd do it late fall because I got to tend the garden and I guess got too many things to do, but fall maybe. And then going to the Formula One race in Austin, the American Grand Prix in October with Hicks and Turk. Very excited. Yes, the Maple King will be joining. And it's going to be, I mean, we're all old friends from high school, so it's just going to be super fun. And been my dream to see a Formula One race live. I've never done it. And they've opened up the American Grand Prix, so off we go. And next weekend, there is no race this weekend, so I'm not missing anything being out here. There's been 4 Formula One races. My team McLaren has been doing really good. Nice to have Daniel Ricciardo on the team. But next weekend is the Monaco Grand Prix. And to me, I'm so excited about that. They didn't have it last year because of COVID. And to me, that was the first Grand Prix I ever saw as a kid. Would kind of see it televised and see Jackie Stewart, and I'm just excited. I love that. I love looking at everything around the racetrack. I love the racetrack. I feel like it's going to be a really different outcome. So little things to look forward to are good. Very good. Like the water bottle filling up. Woo! Buddy! I surprised that little beaver. He gave me a double take. I went, oh. I didn't even hear him coming, man. I'm just kind of laying back here enjoying the wind and thinking about I think I got Dottie's chicken and dumplings tonight from Packet Gourmet. That's always satisfying. Maybe candy bar. That's what I'm thinking about. Chicken and dumpling time. I love that every time. It's the peas and the corn. You can believe that. There's a pea and there's some corn. These little square dumplings. Yeah. The fries cream, dark chocolate with this sort of, I've talked about it before, but it's like a white kind of, I would say almost an orange tasting sort of cream. Man, I love it. And I'm only eating half of it. I put half away. This is my day of halves. Because I like to do things halfway, never all the way. Man, that sun is bouncing off the lake. It's just kind of warming me up. And more than likely giving me a basal cell carcinoma. Well, the sun is still up and I have crawled in. But I'm going to lay here and read. And I'm going to review a little bit of video. And cull a little bit maybe. There might be a couple things I need to cut out. But that's about that. I do turn 63 tomorrow. No big deal. I think this is a fun way to spend it because I'm not into having big birthday parties anymore. Though I am hoping that when I do get home, there is cake. That I'm hoping for. And I'll do more than eat half of it like I have done today. My halvesy day. I may eat the whole cake. Man, I can hear my stomach. My stomach's going. Rah! So, slumber time. Nothing like getting up and sipping that morning brew. The Honduras honey. This little brewer works really good. I like that it folds flat. And I know 100 of you are going to ask me what kind it is, and I think I've said it on other videos. If I can find out what it is, I think I still have the box. I'll put it in the link below. But it does the job. I mainly like that it folds flat. Got a Shag Nasty in my coffee. Well, I got myself some syrup and butter. And Meg had bought these brioche little waffles for her mom because her mom was craving waffles. And she said I should take 2 of them, heat them up, and have myself a birthday breakfast. So that's what I'm going to do. Do a little something special on my special day. Man, I slept hard last night. Really good. It was sort of funny about 4:30 in the morning. Man, it was just like all the birds in the area. All those loons, just woodpeckers, they all decided just to go on duty and start making some noise. It's about 5:30 in the morning now, and I was gonna get up at 4 and start hiking, and I decided I didn't want to. And mainly it was because I tend to always just have an agenda and keep myself on it, and I don't want to. I just know I have to hike about 9.5 miles back to the car, drive to Grand Marais, and get on the Spear Hiking Trail somewhere. And it's not dark till late, so I just want another night in the woods, really. You know, I'm just going to light up the Fancy Feast.
put just a little bit of fuel in there, very little. All right, there we go. And try just hovering my waffles over that thing a little. Yeah, I don't want to burn the syrup and the butter, but I want to melt it. It's a lazy man's way. I should be up fixing a fire to do it, but I just don't want to get out of the warmth of this hammock here because it's cool this morning. About 43 degrees, which is, you know, not cold, but cool. Comfortable. I can wait no longer. Well, Meg, thank you for suggesting I do this for my very special morning. Well, that's wonderful. Delightful. And for those of you that ask, and I get asked a lot, should your wife ever watch your videos? Oh no, she does not. She lives with me. I may try to show her just this little portion where I go, thank you, Meg, I love you so much, thank you. She won't care. You know, family's never into your thing as much as other people. Well, those are little store-bought waffles. I'd never seen them when Meg brought them home. I was going, are these for me? She just goes, no, my mom's been craving waffles. I'm going to go over and fix my mother-in-law some good waffles. I got a waffle maker. I didn't know she was craving them, but they were called little brioche waffles, and they're about like that big.
Always enjoy seeing those little glacial erratics that just dropped out of the glaciers when they were melting, I don't know, a long time ago when global warming was still happening thousands of years ago. But when you come across one just sitting in the woods, I don't know, it's like it's just perfectly shimmed. I'm gonna try to make good time back to the car so I can reboot and then drive straight to Grand Marais to the trailhead and not stop anywhere and get anything or go to town, just so I can keep on the move. Yeah, I found some old equipment out here. I don't know what that is. Probably something from the logging days. Some blacksmith made that. There's another piece right there of something. Boy, that's a heavy iron bar. Just reminds you that not everybody was back here for leisure or leisure. There were guys working. A lot of this trail looks like it could have been a, you know, back in the old days when they would pull the logs out in the winter with the, on these big sleds, horses pulling them until they started getting mechanized vehicles. That's always kind of cool to see. There's a bunch more of it here. That's down so much I can't even move it. And then there's a old bucket. There's an old barrel. What else is back here? Oh, just all kind of machinery parts. That's heavy, man. That is iron. Chain links. Hooks. More barrels. Industry was here. Well, I made a lot better time getting back to the Jeep, and that was because it was only about 7 miles back. I looked at that sign again coming out, and it said 9.5 miles to the Eagle Mountain trailhead. And I didn't go down there because that's where all the people are. Well, there we are looking at the beautiful little town of Grand Marais up here on Pincushion Mountain, and now I'm heading on for my birthday. I remember this section now. I've only walked it once. It was with Wandering Fool several years back, and we were coming from north to south. I'm going the other direction now, but you have to get a weird pace going down them. But man, I've been humping since that parking lot. It was like the 1920s there. People dancing in the parking lot, everybody on the trail. You have to get past all the mountain bike trails and Pincushion Mountain Overlook, and I talked to about 3 or 4 people and a group of people that recognized me. Hey, you're that hammock guy, aren't you? Good to see you out here. And had a girl behind me walking a dog, and I was trying to stay ahead of her after I passed her, and said, cutting through. You didn't want an old man following you. And then stop and talk to some guy from the Forest Service, and then I'd see her catching up, and I could see that look in her face. I was like, why do I keep catching this old axe murderer man? Anywho, I'm just gonna keep walking. I don't even know where I'm going, what I'm gonna do. I think I'm probably I don't know, probably done 2 miles so far, so maybe I'm on like getting toward mile 10 for the day. Feeling good. I never even loosened my boots up when I jumped in the Jeep and drove here, so somewhere down at that river maybe I might stop, take my boots off a minute. If there's a place to stick my feet in the water, I might, because this is a sunny section of trail. And really, it's only about 71 degrees, but that sun's intense today. I stopped here to have a little break, catch some shade, listen to the sound of the Devil Track River. I just talked to 3 young guys down there sitting at a campsite having a nice lunch, and they're heading up the same way as me. And oh, I don't know, I think it's getting to be about 3 o'clock. I'm probably at about 10 or 11 miles for the day now. Start to slow down a little bit, you know. First real hike of the season, you know. Come on, old man walking. Yeah, shit. Get. But it's a lovely little spot right here, just to feel this cool breeze coming through. It's fishing opener this weekend. I guess I didn't know that because I'm not a big fisherman, but so I think most people are going to be on the water, because man, I saw a lot of canoes going in, and maybe there won't be as many people on the trail. I'm telling you, this walk for the last hour has been a great walk. You hear the river just about all the time. Yeah, some ups and downs, but it's just, I don't know how to describe it. It smells good, pretty easy footing. Woo, buddy. Look at that, still some ice. The last bastion of winter hangs on here. All right then, got to my side, Woods Creek, and I'm sharing it with a couple of guys, David and Isaac. who kept passing each other on the trail. And I could have walked on another 3 miles to another campsite, but you know, I've done about 15 miles today. 14 or 15. That's enough for a 63-year-old man. Early in the season. Early! Anyway, there's my rig. And they're setting up back over that way. There's me. And there's a big dirty tent pad, so whoever comes in, I'm going to be camping right next to, and I'm sure people will. But this is just one of those areas, it's all these old poplars and birch. And I don't like hanging off poplar or birch. They're weak trees. No offense. You guys just don't have sturdy backbones. And they're always the ones you see laying on the ground. So I'd rather not. So I got a couple of nice pines here to be on, and those are the only ones I could really see within reason. And I don't care, because I came on this one knowing I'm probably going to be sharing a site, so I'm mentally prepared for it. You know, had a couple of nights alone, so I cannot complain. Good morning. So I have hope. My dreams are alive. I've not even had coffee yet, and my eyes are getting wide. A quiet morning here. I had a shared camp with 2 guys last night, and run into them on the trail a couple of times. Isaac and David, 2 brothers. Super nice guys. We had a really good conversation around the fire. Kind of realizing maybe how much I'm really needing some human interaction now and then. With all of this past years, you know, not doing that as much. And I'm a little excited this morning because I have the pick-me-up bar from Germany. Sent to me by a viewer. And I'd like to say Guten Tag and Dankeschön to Jim Hendricks. Not Jimi Hendrix with an I on the end. Jim Hendricks with no I on the end. Jim Hendricks, mighty kind of you, man. Thank you. My daughter got into my Knoppers bars and discovered she loved them. Took a few home with her. What's a dad to do? So this morning, it's going to be my Dagliadoro instant espresso, because I just don't feel like messing with the coffee grounds and the filter and then spreading it out in the woods later and folding the wet filter up and putting it in my trash. I'm going the easy route. I just want caffeine. So I'm definitely going to walk back to the car and head on home. Oh, decisions. And I don't even really have to make any decisions, do I? I shouldn't try to make one without coffee. I am talking low because, you know, there's other people in camp, so I don't want to disturb them because they're having their morning slumber, laying in their tents, matching tents, side by side. I don't know, one of them looked like they strung a hammock up last night, a recreational hammock. I don't remember seeing it yesterday. It's definitely empty. But it makes my heart feel good to see it, because, you know, hammocks hang with that little sway, and it looks like a light grin in the woods. It does. It looks like a light grin in the woods. So the pickup bar, when I open that box, and, you know, whenever I get a box of candy, even though my wife pretends she doesn't like candy, I always offer her some. And, you know, she's choosy, and she saw the pickup bar, and she went, "Is there caffeine in that? I'll have those." And I said, "I don't think so, but they're Choco hazelnut." And I decided that the Germans really love their hazelnut. Europeans in general. I think, you know, I mean, it's like the first time you stick your finger in some Nutella and eat it, and you go, "What is this flavor? I do not know what it is, but I'm instantly in love with it." Can't go wrong with that. I think I'm going to eat this thing while I'm just sitting here. I'm hungry. And it's kind of beautiful. I've already eaten one at home because it's a, it's like a wafer with chocolate. It's a wafer with chocolate in it.
boy, is that good. That is really good. I do love a wafer. The wafer's lightly sweet. Thin little layer of hazelnut is perfect. I'm going to try to use some control here and save it until my Dagliadoro instant espresso is ready and dip, but I don't think I can. I love it. You're a good man, Jim Hendrix. A good man. Packet Gourmet polenta with pork sausage. I always like this one. It's a break from grits. And placenta. Did I call it placenta? Polenta. But you know, polenta is pretty close to the word placenta. And that used to kind of put me off. But then once I ate some polenta, but not placenta. I hope they don't ever offer placenta with pork sausage. I really enjoyed it. And I hope I don't feel a tick on my leg. And one tick out here, just one the whole time. Coffee time. The unmistakable, dusky, dark taste of a Dagliadoro instant espresso. Or, if I feel continental, I call it medaglia, because that is the proper way. Man, that first sip of coffee in the morning, that very first sip, that hot liquid hitting the tongue. I can't believe you're sitting at home listening to this. You know, the trail's just up the hill, and I heard some footsteps coming and just looked up, and there was one of those female trail runner going by. And a little tiny pack on, a little bitty, just a day pack, probably with water. I don't know how people run these trails. I can barely walk them. That's an interesting breed. They don't come to camp. They just want to run it. It's like they just want to get it over with. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to run the thing. I'm going to do 50 miles and just get it over with. I'm not going to wear very much. I'm going to wear really high shorts and a ball cap and a tiny, tiny pack and probably some no fun, high energy food. And I'm just going to run it. Move on through it. I'm not going to stop and look at anything. I'm not going to stop and look at any views. I'm just going to run. I'm a trail runner. Not going to camp out there. I'm going to run, and then I'm going to go home and ice my feet. At least that's what I think it is, but I actually admire it. It's just that running has never been my thing. Unless I'm running from something. It was like yesterday getting out of that trailhead parking lot. You know, and everybody's standing at the sign, and there were people behind me and in front of me, so I just put on my pace so I could boogie on, and I was going, you know, this is after, you know, walking whatever it was, almost 8 miles coming out of the Brule Lake Trail. So I suddenly had some giddy up and go. I can only run fast if I'm running from something and someone is chasing me and there's danger. And that hasn't happened in a long time. Because now I'd rather just stand there and face the danger than go, do I want to face the danger or run? I'll just face the danger. I got a 50-50 chance that might not be bad, but I know the running's gonna hurt. I'm enjoying my Dagliadoro instant espresso.
So yeah, it's definitely worth coming to the top of Pincushion Mountain. This view of Lake Superior out here, you can't really see where the lake meets the sky. When you walk up, it just kind of gives you a little, ooh, way to go. Got a cell signal, let Meg know I'll be home maybe late tonight. I think when I get to the Jeep, I'm gonna change, if the parking lot's not too crazy, because I can't stand the smell of myself, and drive into Grand Marais, see what's going on there, see what the world is doing, and then just mosey on back home. About a 5-hour drive. I feel good, content, mellow. I've walked about 4 miles to get here, maybe got about a little under 2 to go back to the Jeep. I'd like to give a little shout out to my hiking poles. I think of any of the equipment I carry, that saves me more than anything, those two fellas. Well, one's male, one's female, one's they, one's a them. One's a he, one's a she. They're both inanimate objects, but they get me up the hills, they get me down the hills, they maybe keep my balance. I can use them to prop up my tarp in porch mode. I use them as a camera tripod. I can use them as a defensive mechanism. So a shout out to my Black Diamond Flick Lock hiking poles. Sitting in the Angry Trout now, and I'm getting ready to order fried oysters, fish and chips. I had a fish craving when I was out on the trail, and I got to take care of it. I also had a craving for a Coca-Cola on ice. Oh man, I got some fried oysters. Oh. You know, normally we're at the beach this weekend because Meg has her showcases and all that. Mother's Day around that time, but it didn't happen. So oysters on the half shell, fried oysters are always my thing. And I already ate one of these. Really good. West Coast oysters, brought to Minnesota. That lake doesn't have oysters in it. We have to suffer here in the Midwest. There's my fish sandwich. Yeah. Homemade chips. Coleslaw. Homemade pickles. That was delectable. Exactly what I was craving on the trail. You know how you're out there and you're thinking of certain foods, and pizza wasn't doing it, cheeseburgers wasn't doing it, fried fish. Out of that lake, except for the oysters. They got really good slaw here too. They put these cranberries in there. I never think I'm gonna like it, but I love it. Sent Meg a picture of my plate. So I gotta bring her fish and chips home. Wunderbar. Oh man, I need to lay down on one of these park benches and take a nap after that. It was a leisurely paced lunch. It was exactly what I wanted. Unclenched, no rush, a nice server, great fish. I was thinking about that my whole walk this morning. And now it's time to get on back down to the Twin Cities. See my wife. I don't want to leave Grand Marais, but I got to. Woo, buddy, all secure in Sector 7. Lord, I can't make a decision, and that puts me way behind. I know I need to see her, yeah, before I lose my mind. GoPro, stop recording.